Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Sport Your Enthusiasm podcast. By now, you guys should all know me. I'm your humble host, Bryce Benjamin. And today, I brought in a couple of guests. I had them on the show before. Well, one of them at least. First of all, I want to reintroduce Mr. Ed Rueter. Ed, what is going on, my dude?
Not too much, man. Excited to be back.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you was coming back. And you brought a partner with us today. Another guest host here. My man, Joe Kasha. Am I saying that right?
Kasha.
Okay. Joe, pleasure to have you on the show, man. How are you doing?
I appreciate it. I'm really excited to be here. Love baseball. Love talking about it. So I appreciate the invite.
Yep. And you just heard what the man said. This right here is going to be another MLB episode. I did one of these earlier in the year with Mr. Ed Rueter here, and kind of did like a season preview. And right now we're getting to the All-Star selection. And this is like the mid-season point. So brought Ed back. He brought Joe. And we're going to talk some more baseball, mid-season picks, what's been going on throughout the league and whatnot. So it should be a fun episode, man. I'm here to learn myself. So if you're not if you're still learning baseball like me, hopefully you're going to learn a couple of things here. But if you do obviously watch baseball and follow it, then hopefully that what we're saying today will match up to what you're thinking. But before we get going, Joe, I want to give you a minute. Anytime I have a new guest on the show, I like to give them a second to talk their fanhood. So let the people listening out there know favorite teams, sports, whatever you want to talk about, man. The floor is yours.
All right, I appreciate it. I am a Niagara Falls born and raised guy. I spent the first 23 years of my life here, and now I'm a transplant down in Virginia. So I'm a big Sabres and Bills guy as far as hockey and football. I'm close to the D.C. area down in Virginia, so I've never had a favorite baseball team. Ed always gives me crap about it because he's been an Indians guy. There's the Blue Jays. Every team that the Bisons have ever been a farm team for. I've never really just kind of picked a favorite baseball team. I just kind of like the sport as a general sport overall. But I do have a couple favorite players. Trey Turner. Ed and I are big into collecting baseball cards, and I'm a big Trey Turner guy. He's a shortstop for the Nationals.
Okay.
We play in a dynasty baseball league, and he's one of my players on the team. I just like the way he plays the game. I have a huge Trey Turner collection, a lot of autograph stuff of him, some bobbleheads, some pretty cool stuff. But as far as baseball, yeah, it's just kind of just loving the game, loving the stats. Kind of, there's very few games where you take the sport for such a long period of time and able to track that. And Ed and I have had conversations before of how cool it is because you've got the rookie systems, you got the A ball, the double A ball, the triple A ball, and you can kind of see and you can plot the player's progress throughout, and you can kind of see exactly what to expect once a player hits the major league level. And it's cool to see guys and how they grow throughout the systems, and who makes it and who doesn't. And I think that's the most interesting part of baseball for me.
All right, cool, man. I like it. So Niagara Falls, Buffalo teams, obviously, and then you just love the game of baseball in general. I love that. So, All-Star mid-season break, pretty much, MLB season, and kind of wanted to get your guys' takes on overall the whole consensus of the 2019 MLB season. So overall, man, like, how's it been for you guys? Has this season been as exciting as other ones in the past, and has it met expectations? Like, talk about it.
I think it certainly has for me. I think one of the best things about watching baseball this year is we're really starting to see some of the young guys come up and start to do some damage. There's a lot of talk last year about the baby bombers in New York. Some of the guys like Judge, Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, some of the young guys coming through there. And now it seems like across the league, there's always these tipping points for me where you start to see some of the older stars start to fall off. Like we're going to see CC Sabathia, one of the greats, kind of ride off into the sunset this year. But now you've got the whole young crop coming behind him. Just read a really cool article the other day about the top 25 players under the age of 25. It's unbelievable, the talent that's out there. And what I'm really hoping to see, not only from this year but moving forward, is kind of, we've seen it in the past, that golden age of baseball. I feel like we're right on the cusp. We've got incredible stars in their prime, like the Mike Trouts of the world, but then young guys that are hungry coming up right behind them.
Right.
So it's a great time for baseball, man. Very exciting.
I think this year and last year's rookie classes are probably going to be the most exciting rookie classes you're going to see in the future and for the past 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
These two rookie groups are just filled with just such good talent, just raw baseball talent. And they're really showing it. And just kind of piggyback on what Ed said, this season, the game has changed. The game has evolved. It has now become, a home run. It's kind of an all or nothing game, which is exciting for fans. I think that's kind of what fans want to see. I know there was the dead ball era. When McGuire and Sosa kind of came in with that home run battle, and it was like baseball was back, and then baseball kind of went dead again. And now I think with all these home runs and all the excitement, I mean, you look at the box score, and in an 8-7 game, you got 14 home runs out of the 15 runs. Damn. It's a crazy way that the game's evolving. They're getting into the launch angle of their swing. Guys are using analytics more now to power kind of their game and the way that they play.
And it seems like that's what's been going on with sports in general, like football, basketball, baseball, hockey. Like analytics is starting to become more of a major force in these leagues. And honestly, I didn't know, like baseball, again, another one of those sports that's starting to do that. So it's kind of crazy to see.
It's really cool to talk about it because, you see, especially it comes into play for coaching staffs. You can tell some coaching staffs go after your traditional statistics, which for baseball are usually like batting average, RBI, and home runs. And you have other managers that are out there looking at advanced analytics. Managers like Joe Madden are big proponents of that, and you'll see things like on base percentage replacing batting average. Because essentially, if you're getting on base, it really doesn't matter how, right?
Right.
And they take a look at other things like your batting average with runners in scoring position as opposed to RBI, right? Because if you've got guys constantly on in front of you, your RBI numbers could be kind of out of whack as a result. Whereas what really matters is, if you didn't drive in as many runs, you're a 3-hitter and the guys in front of you aren't very good. What's more important is how did you hit when those guys were actually on base for you, right? So looking at those things, it's just a really cool way, and I appreciate that you said that other sports are doing it too, because that's absolutely the case. It's really cool. Cool time.
Man, that's what's up, man. It's good to hear. All right, so in baseball here, like I said, we reached the midpoint, and I kind of wanted to go through like each division in the conferences here, both the AL and the NL, and kind of get your guys' takes on them. And let's start off right here at the top, AL East. And right now we have the New York Yankees leading the AL East, and if I'm not mistaken, they're leading the entire American League, right? Yeah, 57 wins and 31 losses there. Right behind them is Tampa Bay, 52-39, and then Boston, 49-41. So it's kind of like a 3-team race at this point. But ultimately, it's looking like the Yankees are a really, really contending team, not only to just win that division, but win the whole conference and potentially represent the AL in the World Series. Would you agree?
Their record is actually scary good because of the injuries that they've had throughout. They've gotten production from guys that no one ever thought they would get production for. You're talking early in the season, both Judge and Stanton out for an extended period of time. They're getting guys like Gio Urshela. Ed knows all about Gio Urshela. Never did a thing in Cleveland. Probably one of the most frustrated players Ed has ever seen. He goes to New York and he just blossoms into this guy. I don't understand how the Yankees. It's just kind of like an embarrassment of riches for them. They get these guys to come in and produce for them. You look at DJ LeMahieu. He was kind of like this. Let's bring him in, see how he does. He may start. He may be the fourth infielder on this team. If Mike Trout wasn't in the league, you're talking about DJ LeMahieu as being an MVP of baseball. So the Yankees with the 57-31 record, that could be so much. That could even be better with a healthy team. So they're by far the most dangerous team, not only in the AL East, but I would say in the entire American League. And I think Ed and I were talking. They'll probably go out at trade deadline comes up at the end of the month, and they're probably going to go and get themselves a really solid pitcher, either Madison Bumgarner or Stroman from the Blue Jays. And the thing about the Yankees is they have enough talent in their system to trade away to get one of these starting pitchers. So they're going to get even better once guys heal up and they add a few pieces at the trade deadline. What do you think, Ed? I can't imagine anybody even coming close to them.
Yeah, I mean the replacement players. I say that word, trying to have a degree of accuracy there because that's what they always are called, right? When guys step in, your Urschelas, your Cameron Mabins, your Luke Voits, like these guys are replacement level talent is usually what you call them, right? Like these guys that are come in, you hope that they play league average baseball, right? If you can get some league average baseball out of replacement players, that's pretty good. And this year, a lot of them played like all-stars. There was a real nod for, if it wasn't for like an Alex Bregman, perhaps, there could have been word that Gio Urshela of Indians fame, guy couldn't hit my weight, which, although higher than it should be, is still not any kind of
upper 270s.
Yeah, not anymore, man. I don't know. It's trying to get in that Mendoza line, but. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to watch guys come there and just succeed because I'm not a fan of the Yankees. So that's tough for me. But it's good for baseball, honestly. When the Yankees are doing well, when teams like Boston are doing well and the Dodgers are doing well, I think that adds to the hype of baseball, which all in all can't be a bad thing. So
it does pain me. I don't like the Yankees. I don't like the big payroll teams.
Yeah,
I think they're at such an advantage with the amount of money that they have and are able to spend, and that's why I like the Rays where they're at. I mean, look at the Tampa Bay Rays. That's you're talking probably them with in the beginning of the season, probably with Toronto and Baltimore down towards the bottom of the league, and they're in second place and playing better than the Red Sox right now. And I like that. That's a small market team. They don't have the funds to go out there and spend in free agency, so they're growing people in their prospect system, in their AA and their AAA. I like that. I like that when Tampa Bay, a team like that, can come in and hold their own. And right now, I mean, they're definitely in the thick of getting a wild card spot. With Boston just kind of being disappointing. Boston's bullpen is just brutal. Just brutal. I watched them play the London games. I don't know if you caught.
Yeah, they got swept.
Yeah,
I remember the first game was the first inning was this shit was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
it looked like a Giants and Patriots scrimmage or something. I thought, what is this? Is some kind of summer league football?
Legit.
Yeah, and then in game 2, it was, I think Boston was up 5-2 going into the 7th inning, and then the Yankees scored about 10 runs in that inning. Boston's bullpen just fell apart. They just fell apart. So. Yeah, they're, as far as one of the bigger disappointments in the league, Boston's definitely as reigning world champions. They've got some issues to fix, and it starts probably with that bullpen. I think of those 41 losses, you can attribute quite a bit of those to bullpen play.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, any chance that the Yankees kind of not win this division? Or is this just pretty much like you guys want to just kind of set this in stone and move forward from there?
You ever see Dumb and Dumber? So you're saying there's a chance. I mean, there's always a chance. I mean, at this point, if the Yankees don't win that division, they will probably have to really screw things up royally.
Yeah.
I just don't see anybody competing with them in that division. Now, when it comes to playoff baseball, that's a different thing. Getting to the World Series and winning a World Series, you have to have the pitching to do that. And when you look at a team like the Astros, they're dangerous because you've got you got to get through Garrett Cole, you got to get through Justin Verlander. That's a team that's kind of built for the playoffs more so than the Yankees. If their pitching can hold up in the playoffs, then I'd say they're kind of a favorite to win the World Series. But I don't see in the regular season, I don't see a team touching them at all.
Yeah, I think it'd be really tough. I think you kind of put it really well earlier when you said, "Can you see anybody beating the Yankees?" I don't think I see anybody beating the Yankees. The only way they lose is if they blow it for themselves.
They beat themselves.
Yeah, they beat themselves. And the one hole in the Yankees roster that I will say is starting pitching. So if they don't pick someone up for some reason, which kind of seems like it's been a trope for the Yankees over the years, is they always go out and get another hitter. This year already, they went and added Edwin Encarnacion when their lineup was already full of that type of slugger.
Right.
And if there's any hole, it's starting pitching, and perhaps the fact that they are a little bit home run dependent. You have a lot of guys that are swing and miss type guys in that lineup, and if there's anyone that's built to exploit that, it might be Tampa Bay. So could be interesting down the stretch. The Yankees have a lot of games against Boston left, if I'm not mistaken. I think they play them like 13 or 14 more times, so it should be very interesing.
But the thing with the starting pitching with the Yankees, too, is you really only need, if you can get your starters out there, if you can get them 5 good innings of pitching, of starting out there, their bullpen is that good where they can carry them for the next 4 innings.
Right.
That's what I think their goal is going to be. If those pitchers can get there maybe 5-6 innings,